I decided to change shots to give you a much broader picture. Now, this would be the help of 3 years old spoken of in Genesis 15:9-10. These would be the first mixture. The heifer would symbolize myself. She-goat would symbolize John the Baptist. And the ram would symbolize Jesus. Now, let's go back here. Show you where we come from. The heifer would symbolize Moses, the spirit of Moses. The she-goat, it's in Genesis 15:9-10, that when God used these symbols, would symbolize the spirit of Elijah. And the ram, which would symbolize Isaac, would symbolize Jesus Christ. Because he would come from the seed of Abraham, and God tells us in Genesis chapter 17 that he was not going to let Ishmael be that, but Isaac. Isaac was going to be given the birthright of being the father of Jesus Christ, the father of Mary, father of Joseph, and all 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That's why he was yet 100% black. But as the mixture began, then Jacob was not, even though he was the seed of Abraham, he was not 100% a person of the black race. This is where he was a mixed race person. He was 75% black and 25% white because of his mother she was 50% black and 50% white, who was Rebecca, because she was born to the son of Bethel, the son of Laban, who was Abraham's son of Bethel, who was son of Abraham's brother, who Milcah bare to him. He had Rebecca and Laban. That's what it was. He was not Laban. Ner. He was the son of Ner. Okay, now, this was the symbol that God gave to the flood, before the flood. The 3 years, that means they had to be slain in the format of 3 years. This is what this was telling us. Well, the pigeon and the dove, by them not separating, God letting us know that the heifer was not supposed to be born, but it had to be used as a symbol to show you where I came from. But it was going to remain attachment because John the Baptist had to be a part of this an attachment to Jesus Christ. He had to be born before Jesus Christ and be slain first. But by me being one of the witnesses, I had to be part of still attached on to Jesus. Even after he go into the womb of Mary and be born, I would be the secondary spirit of the human race, born yet attached on to Jesus Christ, and would have to go to the cross because it was not my time, but yet I had to be made part of the exact same sacrifice within 3 years. This is what God was telling us in this symbol here. Letting you know, and what this was telling us was God was creating this situation to show us that Jesus would not be born the seed of a man. This was the only way that he could do this that I could even see. Jesus didn't need the substance of man and to be born. And the only way he need this was to prove that he didn't have the substance of man. The prophecy was being fulfilled. It's one thing telling you something, but when you bring the proof and show how it was done, you can't deny the proof. By God catching up Moses and attaching the spirit of Moses onto the spirit of Jesus, and attaching the spirit of Elijah onto the spirit of Jesus, making them part of the same sacrifice. But when Elijah came back to be born, he disengaged and went into the womb of Elizabeth, which was the cousin to Mary. And he was born because he had the substance of a man who was his father, Zacharias, I believe it was. Anyway, he was born unto him. And you find it in St. Luke chapter 1. Well, when he was born, that left two yet attached to the spirit, but so I had nowhere to go because according to the Bible prophecy, if you go and look at Isaiah, where it came through stages, but I will bring you to a stage in a minute, I was yet an attachment. But first, let me take you through this part. Once these symbols here came before, and these pigeon and the dove was not separated, meaning these was yet joined together. When Jesus go across, the dove and the pigeon would be yet an attachment, because both of these, the pigeon is a dove, it's a rock dove, and the dove is a dove. So these two doves here. And so what happened was, once they went through the 400 years, this here was before the 400 years. They had to become a mixture to have all males, and they became 12 males on this side of Egypt, of the slavery of Egypt. Lord, if I said flood, Lord, forgive me. So if they came, before they went into Egypt, there was 12 males out of the house of Abraham, came from the seed of Isaac. That means the symbol would change from the helper, it would change to the bullocks, which Exodus 29, 1-28. You'll find that. I got that right here. And then the she-goat would change into a secondary ram. You go there, and you'll see this here also in Exodus 29, 1-28. She would change into a ram, and this ram here would remain the same. So now, once they went in slavery, 430 years, at the duration of the 430 years, God would use another symbol. He would, this time, Abraham has been gone a long time ago. So this showing you this couldn't be nothing but a God. He would use another symbol which is consistent with this. And the pigeons and the dove was never separated, because they is the pigeon, the dove here, is a ram, and he didn't use no two doves, because the two doves would show you two rams. So he used a dove here and a pigeon. They was birds. It was not birds. They were five, both were five, but they was not of the same feather, like the bullocks, and one of the rams was not of the same flock. Was not the same, yeah. So therefore, that means he used, let you know, the dove, which would be one of the ram, and the pigeon would be one of the bullocks, because the pigeon and a dove is not the same pedigree like the ram and the ram, like the she-goat and the ram. So he would let you know that the pigeon would have to be the bullocks, which is not they both beasts of prey, but it's not of a pedigree of it's not just a pedigree of these here rams. So this here bullocks would also be a bullock, but it would be the pigeon. But the pigeon was there to let us know that the symbol, as they traveled up on the ground, they traveled up as beasts of prey, as the prophecy was on the ground. But once they get to the pigeon and the dove was used, then you know when they would take flight to go back up. But this was not to be used until the crucifixion, until after the sacrifice would be complete in the 4 years, after the first one. So, here's another part. So God, not only did he have Moses to create this symbol, tell him this is what's going to be the sacrifice. He stayed speaking to us in time, Exodus 29. But before that, he had him to build him an ark of the covenant. The ark becomes the 12 tribes of Israel, because he had him to write the name of all 12 tribes up on the ark of the covenant, meaning the ark itself, which housed the law of Moses, was that all the 12 tribes, not one, but all the 12 tribes of Israel became this ark. And the law that God gave Moses to give to them, it was to be placed inside this ark, which would become the heart of his children, that they didn't supposed to depart from this law. They supposed to tune it inside them, meditate on it, and understand it, and they didn't supposed to change it for a law called democracy. That's where God is angry with them at. Now, the mercy seat was not a part of the ark. It was not attached to the ark. It was separate from the ark. He had to make it separate from the ark. It was never attached on to the ark of the covenant.